Hello, welcome to Geeky Hijinks, home of the Mischief Makers, and today it's another competition for Screen Stars. He's hit 5,000 subs, an amazing achievement, like so good. Now, I've recently subbed to Screen Stars, haven't watched most of his content. I think he subbed to me as well in the last couple of weeks, but I watched his, the first thing I watched of his was the Power review, because I literally dropped the review the same day as him. And I always like to see people who've dropped the review I've just dropped, like on the same day or like in a few days here and there, just so I can see what they thought. And he pretty much had the same sort of feeling as me. Bit too dark, had Vigil vibes. Vigil's a great film, check it out if you haven't seen it. And yeah, so his final rating was 7 out of 10 is kind of what I kind of gave it, but in my own little bronze win rating. But yeah, so from that review, and the guy bangs out so many videos, I'm just like, let me see what else he's done. So since that Power review, he's done like 10 videos, so I need to catch up on some of those. PS4 reviews, there's like top 10 for PS4 games and PS5. I don't know if he's got a PS5, I didn't see any PS5 stuff there, but he does so many like top 10s, so many film reviews. Need to check out more of his stuff. Like I said, there's so many people we all sub to, so much content to watch. So from the Power review and everything you drop onwards, I will catch. I don't think I'll be able to get through everyone's previous content because there's so much, but from now onwards, I'll watch your stuff. But 5,000 subs is an achievement and a half. I think we can all agree to that. Like, to get to 1,000, to be honest, to get to 100 is great, especially when we just started out. To get to 1,000, 2.5 is like mind blowing, but to get to 5, that's an amazing achievement. Should never be underestimated. Like, I know he was massively appreciated. I like his video, thanking everyone, because you can tell he's very humbled by it. Never expected it. Like, if I got to 5,000 subs, I'd just be like, I'd be so shocked. So well done, mate. Them really good there. Can't wait to see more of your content. But yeah, let's get on with his competition. So, I got my handy dandy book again because my memory's not great. I'm just going to put it out there. Memory is terrible. But it was a strange one because he gave two options for us to talk about. There was name your top 5 PlayStation 4 games and name your top 5 films from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s and 2010s. Now, the movie one is too hard for me to do. I've done both, but I'm going to enter it in for the movie one. And then I'm going to do the video game one last. Because I wanted to do both, but the decade one is too hard because there's too many good films in each one. And it's like going up to a jukebox and putting your pound in, picking 3 songs. You're like, I like all songs, but I don't know which ones to pick. It all depends on your mood. But I've made a basic list for the film one, so I won't go into too much detail. It'll just be like a 2-hour video. And the video game one, I'll go into that briefly too. So let's just get started. Now, my film from the 70s is Jaws. Now, I love that film. And there's so many good films in the 70s. I could have picked Star Wars, Alien, but Jaws is probably the first horror film I watched as a kid, because it was the first film I saw where people died. Like that little kid, what is it? I forget the name of the kid now. But when you see him die and he's on that little lilo, and you see the blood spurt up, and you see his body getting dragged into the water, you're just like. And also, it was my first animal death. Poor Pippet. But yeah, that's first death, first dog death, all in one film. I can see why I'm scarred. But it's just the whole film is good. Like the camera techniques. I watched the making of that film so many times. I had it on VCR, got it on DVD. You need to get it on Blu-ray or 4K. I don't know if it's on 4K. But it's an amazing film. The fact that you never see the shark, Bruce, for that entire film. And its reveal at the end when Brody's feeding the water charm. He turns around and the shark pops up behind him. And he's like, we need a bigger boat. Like, iconic scene. That's an iconic line itself. But that's an amazing scene. The whole film is filled with iconic moments. The music, the deaths, the cinematography. Like Spielberg created the summer blockbuster, and many people copied his style and cinematography after this film. So yeah, my favourite 70s film. My favourite 80s film. This is horrible. 80s is my favourite decade. I wish I was alive in the 80s. I wish I was like 20. Like, this is how I dance, by the way. Or how I would dance in the 80s. But I wish I was born like at 20, 21 in the 80s, in those clubs, like with my like love heart sunglasses, and I'm guessing that's addressed in the 80s. That's what films have told me anyway. But I have chosen Who Framed Roger Rabbit because so many amazing 80s films, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit is an amazing film again. Like, everyone's raving on about Space Jam. Where's the Roger Rabbit sequel? Now, I don't want one because Bob Hoskins is no longer with us. But that film is incredible. The animation, again, I watched the making. Most films I really love, I watch the makings for. But I watched the making of that movie. Bob Hoskins is incredible. I didn't even know he was English. So when I heard his accent later on in life for the BT adverts, it's good to talk. I was like, what, he's an English dude? But yeah, it's a great performance by Bob Hoskins. Roger Rabbit's amazing. I love it when he drinks whiskey and he's like bouncing all over the place. I think most of my humour comes from like those early films like Roger Rabbit, where I'm a bit bouncy. Love Roger Rabbit, love the animated, love all the characters, love the fact Disney meets the Looney Tunes and all those other characters. Incredible, really funny, but also quite dark. Like, it's about a murder, and you see people get killed, and that scene when like the movie producer gets shot, and you just see him like dead on the window. And let's not forget about Jessica Rabbit. But yeah, an amazing film, amazing 80s film, and probably my favourite. And my favourite 90s film is easier than anything. So many good 90s films, but my favourite film of all time is Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park came out in 90, so obvious choice. Now, I could talk about this film for ages, but it came out at the perfect time for me. I was 7. Dinosaur crazy. Any chance I could get to have dinosaurs books, dinosaur dictionaries, anything. Like when I was 7, I got some money, like £5, £10. Went straight to the shops, toy shop, and I bought Dino the dinosaur. Still got him. He's in the attic. Should have bought him here with Sam to chill out behind me in the background. You'll see him soon. But yeah, dinosaur crazy. When Jurassic Park came out, I just remember seeing the trailer and just being like, as a kid, and every time I saw it on TV, I might be getting some more outside. As soon as I heard the music for the trailer on the TV, I would run in just to get a glimpse. And when the film came out, I remember every single scene, every word of dialogue to that film. And to this day, it still has the greatest scene in cinema history when the T-Rex breaks out of the fence halfway through the film. That is the best scene, in my opinion, of all time. And not because I'm like dinosaur mad, like I love dinosaurs, but I grew out of dinosaurs, but I still love them. I think anyone goes to the museum and sees dinosaur skeletons can not be impressed. But yeah, Jurassic Park, my favourite 90s film. Now my favourite film in the 2000s, again quite easy, so many good picks, but it's Spider-Man 2. Because where I transitioned from dinosaurs to Spider-Man because of Fox Kids. I watched the animated TV show known as the X-Men one and the Spider-Man one. And that was the first thing I knew about Spider-Man. And I know like my uncle had like the 1970s Spider-Man TV show. And I watched that, so I was thinking, oh, because there's a cartoon about this guy. I watched it, and that's how I found out about everything Marvel. From the Fantastic Four, to Venom, to Dr. Octavius, to the Sinister Six. To everything. So this film, when it came out, it's been number 1. I was like, oh my god, Spider-Man, it's amazing. But Spider-Man 2, I don't know how people can knock it, because that's what annoys me about films. This film when it came out was raved about. Then down the line, everyone was like saying, yeah, but it's quite cheesy acting and a bit hokey. And it's like, you can still appreciate this. You haven't got to pick apart films from the past. Like Jason and the Argonauts came out, back in the 50s, 60s? And people can pick it apart now saying, oh, it looks so fake. And it's like, yeah, but back then that was someone's vision that they pulled off on the big screen. It's a classic, so leave it alone. Same with Spider-Man 2. So many iconic scenes, the swinging scenes, the storyline, Dr. Octavius, the train fighting scene, one of the best fighting comic scenes in my opinion. Yeah, the airport scene in Civil War is probably better, but just seeing that scene, like no one had ever seen a scene like that in the cinema. Yeah, he had the Matrix, but to see a comic book hero have a fight like that with such high intensity on the train where he's ducking and dodging and diving and backwards and that, fantastic. So Spider-Man 2 is my favourite pick for the 2000s. Now my favourite 2010 film, quite difficult. I'm going to choose 2. Yeah, I'm cheating. You can disqualify me. But it's Inception and Wolf of Wall Street, both starring Leonardo DiCaprio, who was fantastic in both. Probably probably the best actor of our current generation, in my opinion. Guy can't do any wrong. But with these films, Inception, I just remember my mouth like dropping to the floor. Like those scenes where they're running along the wall as their van's falling. Like I love anything to do with dreams. And that's when Nolan's amazing now, but that was when Nolan was just ruling the world. He had the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception. He was just on a roll. That film came out, and I remember reading a review about it, and it was just saying like, this film is like for intellectuals. Now, it's not for intellectuals, but it's a film that you need to pay attention to. You can't go on your phone. You can't like go walk out, put a kettle on, get a beer from the fridge and make a sandwich and have the film on in the background. You need to take in everything this film is giving you visually and audiotorically, if that's how you say it, or audio and visually. You need to take in everything, because if you miss one scene, 1 minute, 1 second, you're done. This film's not going to make any sense. And the fact this film makes you think, especially at the very end with the spinning top, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but the spinning top at the end, Great ending to a film, one of the best endings to a film as well. Still spoken to about this day. But the action and the special effects, but that hallway scene, to this day, one of the best fighting scenes and visual effects scenes I've ever seen. But then on the flip side, Wolf of Wall Street, it's like Goodfellas. These are bad people. Goodfellas is full of bad people that did bad things to normal people like me and you. And Wolf of Wall Street is exactly the same, but they're not the mafia. He's like a stockbroker. But I just can't believe this guy's life. I cannot believe this guy did all these things, and yeah, he's a terrible person for what he done. Because the story is told with such energy, with Jonah Hill as well in it, great performance by him. I just loved it. And that was my first introduction to Margot Robbie. My goodness me. And that like doorway scene, my lord. Yeah, my battery just ran out on my camera, and I think my camera was like, Joe, your girlfriend's gonna watch this, stop speaking about Margot Robbie. So I'm like, okay, moving on. But yeah, so my favourite 2010 films are Inception, fantastic, and of course Martin Scorsese's, what else can you say, Wolf of Wall Street, both fantastic films. No, I should pick one, but I'm going to pick those two. Now I'm going to zoom through the PS4 games really quickly because it's like 15 minutes and I don't want to be talking too long because most people's competitions last about 8 to 10 minutes, but I talk so fast. So here we go. So my number 5 of my favourite PS4 games is Whoa, Joe, hold your horses. So basically guys, this video is meant to be about 8 to 10 minutes long, but I kind of got carried away. So what I've done is I split the video into 2 parts. The first part you've just watched, which is the movie part, and the second part out this afternoon is the gaming part, because this video is meant to be about 8 to 10 minutes long, with 20 minutes long, and I thought, that's a bit too long for a video like this because you can't really absorb the movie stuff and then the gaming and trying to remember what I've spoken about, so I split it into 2. But of course, making sure you subscribe to Screen Stars, really good guy, great content. Here's the descriptions below. So I'll see you this afternoon, but until then, stay out of trouble.